Welcome to Life Recovery Today, brought to you by New Life. If you're feeling stuck in addiction, grief, anxiety, or broken relationships, you're not alone. Over the next half hour, you'll discover practical tools and biblical truth from the 12 steps of life recovery, designed to help you heal, grow, and thrive. Because recovery isn't just about what you're giving up, it's about who you're becoming. Whether you're new to recovery or looking to go deeper, we have resources to guide you. Bibles, workbooks, devotionals, and real stories of transformation. You can start your journey today on your own, in a group, or through your church. Visit newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to take the next step. This is your time for healing, hope, and freedom. This is Life Recovery Today.
Hi there. Welcome to Life Recovery Today. We're going to talk about honesty and deception today. And it all comes from a 1940s movie entitled Gaslight. I had the privilege of seeing this old 1940s movie, and it was really fascinating the way this man would go away, but what he really did is he went back into a secret area and he would dim the lights, the gas flow to the candles and things, and he wouldn't acknowledge that it was different, and it just almost drove this lady crazy. And so as we looked at addiction and codependency and what people do, some folks said, wow, this is like that old movie. It's not like out and out lying, but it's concealed deception. That's what gaslighting is all about. Now, all of us know that communication is a vital part to every relationship, and it's probably the biggest thing that we have to do when things go badly or wrong. And we sometimes never ever get it right. And many times a relationship, it's founded on the conflict. And you're not going to heal a relationship if you've got deception and all you ever talk about is how are we going to fix this conflict. Well, no one likes to be lied to, and yet there are many people that are struggling with addiction. They have a lot of trouble telling the truth. And it's like the gaslight thing. They don't just out and out tell a lie. It's just a hidden deception. They don't tell all of the truth. They don't give the full meaning of what happened, just trying to get by. Very different than an open and authentic relationship. Well, Dr. Sheri Keffer, who is both psychologist and co-host on New Life Live, she was kind enough to do a video about gaslighting. And she really has in her book, Intimate Deception. She's really helped a lot of people see that they weren't going crazy, that they weren't weird, strange, or sick, but they were being victimized by this phenomena called gaslighting. And it really does happen in those relationships where truth isn't the first order, or it's deception in order to cover up an addiction, or it's deception because the person is so used to telling the lie when the truth would be just as easy that they lie anyway. They deceive anyway. So all that she's going to do is help us see how do people deceive and what can you do about it. You know, one of the things that we find so often is that a person that is the gaslighter cuts the other person off and doesn't want them to have contact with anybody else. It's one of the first things you see. So they cut their relationships off, their contacts off, because they want to be in total, absolute control. And they don't want anybody saying to that person, hey, have you ever thought about this? Well, I'll tell you, Sheri Keffer has worked with thousands of people who have thought about it, and on the other side of the deception and the other side of the lies, they have absolutely turned their lives around. So I hope you really enjoy this by Dr. Sheri Keffer and this topic, this strange topic, but not so strange once you understand it, of gaslighting. Here's Dr. Keffer.
Hey everybody, it's great to be with you today. Sheri Keffer here, and I'm going to be talking about something called gaslighting today. It is a term that's used to describe what it looks like when something's trying to hide something they don't want you to know about. It actually came from a movie that was done in 1944 with Ingrid Bergman and Charles Boyer, a husband and wife, Paula and Gregory. Now, Gregory had married her in order to try to steal some jewels that were given to her by her family. When she was downstairs in the house, he went upstairs in the attic and began to look for the jewels. What she didn't know is that he was doing that, and also when he was up there, the lights in the room began to flicker. So when he came down, she asked him, "Hey, did you notice that the lights were going on and off?" And he looked at her and said, "You know what? No, but you've not been feeling well or looking well lately. I'm concerned about you." His intent was to hide, and he wanted to get her to feel crazy about herself in order to put her in an insane asylum. So gaslighting is when somebody is hiding something from us, but makes us believe that the problem is actually ours instead of theirs. In fact, in the movie, it wasn't until an undercover police officer actually noticed the lights going on and off that she, for the first time, felt validated and knew something was happening and she wasn't going crazy. It is a scary thing that can happen, and if somebody has the intent to do it, it's even known as psychological abuse. But not all people that gaslight actually know they're gaslighting, and not all of them are premeditated attempts. In fact, there's a group that is sat down with husband and wives to talk about how this happens. And some of the men in the group actually had a wake-up call when they realized what they were doing and that it was causing them harm, causing the person, their wife or girlfriend, to begin to question their intuition or gut. They made the changes, they owned it, and began to stop doing it. And so the proof is in the pudding. If somebody understands about this and stops doing it, then you know they're willing to change. In the next video series, we're going to be looking at what are some of the things you might hear if somebody is gaslighting you. How do they sound? Just so you can kind of identify them if you're in relationship with them. So you might hear phrases like this: "You're crazy," or "Seriously, you need help." They might say something like, "It's always something with you. You're too sensitive. You always get your feelings hurt over stuff." Sometimes they'll just tell you to calm down, or they'll say you take things personally. If you would just stop taking things personally. I don't know why you're asking me what you're asking me. Sometimes they even take it deeper, and they might use labels. They might call you a drama queen. They might say, "You're such a drama queen. You always have to make things bigger than they actually are." Or if really going for a kind of a low blow in a hurtful place, telling us, "You're just so overweight. If you were to deal with your issue, then things would be better between us." Well, what you don't know is they're sexually acting out on the side. They're having affairs, but they're making it about your weight in order to cover their tracks and how they're deceiving you. They might even use our frustration or anger and say, "You know what? You get angry a lot. You just need to lighten up." And last but least, they might even challenge your credibility and tell you that, you tend to get your facts wrong. It might be better if you stop trying to make stuff up in your head. So do you see how each one of those phrases actually has to do with you and not what they're doing? And because of that, their aim is to make you doubt yourself. Its intent is actually to erode your sense of gut intuition And so when you do get worried, or you do get upset, or you do get frustrated, or you are afraid, or you're scared out of your mind, they make that the problem instead of the real problem, which is really them sexually acting out or hiding something from you. They want you to feel irrational, unnatural, and like you're overacting with what's going on. So we're going to do another video because I want to explain the differences between blame and gaslighting. They often get mixed up, and I want to have us get really clear about what those two things are. So blame happens when someone does something wrong and they point their finger over at the other person and make them the problem rather than owning what they've done. Let's say your husband is home late from work and you're concerned that maybe he's meeting up with somebody. And so you might ask him about it and he'll say, "Oh, yeah, my boss kept me late tonight." Or maybe he has a trip that was planned and at the airport, he calls you and said, they're having some problems with the plane. I don't know, mechanical error, so I'm going to have to stay over another night. You're a bit suspect about that, but he has a reason that he's, given you, and it seems to make sense. Or maybe if you're married to somebody, let's say your wife's betrayed you, and she is supposed to be seeing her counselor. And you ask her, "Are you still in therapy?" And she'll say, "Oh, yeah, I called my therapist and I've left 3 or 4 messages. And you know what? He's not calling me back. It's the weirdest thing." Again, pointing the finger at somebody else. Now, those are all situations where there's blame. Somebody's hiding something but making it somebody else's fault. So in the case of gaslighting, it's different. Gaslighting is when somebody twists the truth and then makes the problem about you. So there's an extra step and you end up feeling crazy. So it sounds something like this. Let's say your husband comes home and he's 3 hours late and you ask him about that because that seems very strange. And he might say, "You know what? I know you've been kind of not feeling well or kind of overwhelmed with the kids lately, and I told you I was going to be late tonight. I told you I had a dinner appointment. So it seems like you got a lot going on." Do you see the difference? Now it's about you. Or maybe the doctor reveals that you have a sexually transmitted disease, and they might say something like, "Hey, well, we know how active you were before you got married." Now they put it on you. That's the difference. That's where gaslighting becomes lethal to us, because it's really not about us. It's about the truth they're hiding from us. So in the next program, the next video show, we're going to be looking at how you might feel if someone is gaslighting you. What's going on in us? If you need help with this, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Are you going through your struggles alone? Do you want someone to talk to help you through your pain? Do you feel like a failure when you relapse again, telling yourself, "Next time will be different"? Don't walk this path alone anymore. Join a life recovery group today and be a person that your friends and family can be proud of. God created us to be in community, and we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country, and if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. Life Recovery brings recovery to you, right where you are. You'll take a journey with others to find healing and freedom. Whether you're looking to join a group or start one, New Life Ministries is here for you. Visit newlife.com/groups or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Life recovery isn't just about making the courageous choice to give up an addiction or dependency. It's a journey towards health, wholeness, and becoming your very best you. If you need resources to help you in your journey, we can help. There are many life recovery resources that you can do on your own, with a group, or with your church. We have Bibles, workbooks, and devotionals that you can use to work your recovery right where you are. That's the beauty of Life Recovery. To learn more or to get the Life Recovery Bible or any other life recovery resource, visit liferecoverytoday.net or call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Welcome back. Well, as both Sheri and I have said, gaslighting can happen to anybody. And perhaps you can relate to what Sheri has been sharing because it's happened to you. When we're in a healthy relationship, we need to be able to share truth, hear truth, and then, if we're the sharer, we need to receive something more than shame or rejection when we're literally trying to fess up and come clean. Now, Sheri's going to help us understand what happens to us when we've been in gaslighting relationships and what we can do about it. And when I come back, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the dilemma of ever having to have been in a gaslighting relationship. But, I'll tell you then about the tendencies and the trouble if it fully doesn't get resolved within you. So, here again, Dr. Sheri Keffer on gaslighting.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Sheri Keffer here. And I'm going to take some time here to talk about what happens in us, what symptoms you might see in yourself if you've been gaslit. Because eventually what happens when somebody's doing this, we take the bait. We start believing that it is us. And that just not only erodes our gut or intuition, but it also makes us question ourselves, and it even makes us heartsick. And so sometimes when people come into me that have been gaslit, they're somewhat in a fog. There seems to be a lot of confusion. They might even be, I would say, rageful, angry, unhinged. They feel like they're crazy, and they might even say, "I'm crazy." They can't really trust their gut. They have a hard time making decisions. They also have struggle with their memory. They start to question themselves, or they may say, "Well, I'm sorry, a lot," because they think that they're at fault for whatever's happening in that moment in the relationship. They even can feel hopeless or isolated. We lose our joy. We feel weird and like something is really wrong with us. It's not actually the coveted jewelry that's being hidden. It's that there's some sexual acting out that's hidden that you don't know about. And so the person that's betraying you is actually trying to protect themselves from being discovered, or maybe protect themselves from having to be in recovery, or maybe even protect themselves from their reputation and you finding out, because it could cause them harm at some level. So it's important for us to know what the truth is, right? And I have this amazing verse that I wanted to read. It's actually out of Psalms 52:2. And I love when God's word just kind of says it like it is. And this is what he says in Psalms: "Is all day long you plot destruction. Your tongue cuts like a sharp razor. You're an expert at telling lies." So telling lies isn't good for us, and it's not good for the one that's betraying us. God knows that, and it causes both parties harm. So it's important to get into truth-telling in order to turn this thing around. We're going to be looking at a common tactic that's used when someone is lying to us. And I actually have, in order to explain this to folks, I have 3 coconuts and a red ball. And the reason I use this is because it helps a person really understand what's going on. It gets really confusing when people are lying to us and hiding something they don't want us to know about. So I basically set the 3 coconuts up on a table, and I take one of them and put the red ball underneath it. Now, if you were just to look at that, you couldn't see that the red ball is actually inside, but it is. And so what happens when someone who's lying is you might see something. You might actually see that there was some sexting happening on your husband's phone. Or maybe you saw your wife's email who's betraying you, and she actually had a series of emails that she's been talking to somebody, and there's a lot of inappropriate innuendos that you saw on the email. Whatever the red ball is something that was a deceptive act that was hidden from you. And you ask them about what you found, you ask them about the red ball. What actually happens is they cover it up. I don't know what you're talking about. And they begin to tell a story and details change. Things get cryptic. Oh, that email. Yeah, that wasn't mine. Or maybe the kids used my phone. I don't know what you're talking about. You found porn on my phone? Yeah, and then maybe they've erased everything. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter what you bring up. The coconuts start moving on that table. And my point that I want to make to you is I want you to just keep your eye on that red ball. You don't have to let that manipulation put you into a crazy spin cycle in your own mind. You saw it. It was a fact. You can stay on that. You can hold on to that. And you can actually say, something like, I'm sorry, we might disagree on that. I did see that. I do know about that, and I'm not okay with that. Those are some empowering ways to hold on to yourself while you're confronting what somebody is trying to hide. So stay tuned, because we're going to look at 3 other factors that often get in the way when somebody's trying to keep us from finding out what they're hiding. And I call these the 3 B's. There's 3 B's. There is blaming, blocking, and bullying. You've got the red ball, right? We were talking about that in a prior show about the coconuts and the red ball. They want to hide what's been done to cover their tracks, and so you won't find out. So if somebody is trying to block you, they might do something like this. They might say, I don't want to hear it again. Or, you know what, this isn't a good time to talk about this. Or they might even come flat out and just say, I don't know what you're talking about. Those are all ways that somebody is trying to stop you in your tracks. The second one is blaming. And this is a situation where you've maybe found something on a bank statement, right? You saw something, a large charge for money that you didn't know what it was for, or a series of withdrawals that you don't know what they're about. And so you go to ask them a simple question, what is that? And they might scratch their head and say, I don't know what you're talking about, but I will definitely give the bank a call tomorrow and see if we can figure this out, right? I'm sure there's an explanation. The bank probably made a mistake. Or they might say, after they came home late that night, the boss had me stay late. Yeah, that happens sometimes. You know how hard I work. Or they may even just come right out and say, not my deal, not my red ball, right? Not my deal. I don't know what you're talking about. Not my fault, and put it on anything other than themselves. The third type of B is actually called bullying. And this is where they get really aggressive with you by demeaning you, putting you down, using their power to make you feel like you're small or bad. And so it might be using something like this, whatever, or you need to have your head examined. They might tell you you're crazy. You're crazy. They might even tell you that you get these crazy ideas from whatever TV program you're watching or support group you're in. Or they might even say you get it here from New Life when what we're trying to bring you is the truth, right? It doesn't matter. They're going to say something to deflect from you keeping your eyes on that little red ball. So at New Life here, we really are about the true truth, as you often hear Steve say. We're here to help you know the truth, because that's what's going to set you free. If you are wondering how to get to that truth, give us a call at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Welcome back. Well, you're seeing all of this, perhaps that you're in a relationship where gaslighting has been happening. Maybe you're the one that's actually using it to keep from someone knowing what you're going through, and you're just not being absolutely honest, and you're trying to cover it up, and it makes it difficult for everybody to know the truth. There's an interesting scripture. I've shared this many times. It's often shortened into "the truth will set you free." Well, you know, many times we substitute our truth or deception, and that's what governs our lives. But what Jesus really said in that passage in John 8:31-32 is, if you abide by my word, in other words, if you live what I've been teaching, then you're one of my disciples. You're a follower. And in that following, you are going to come to know the truth, and that truth is going to set you free. It's not memorizing some truth. If that were the case, we could transform just by memorizing Scripture. But it's knowing the Word, living the Word, that reveals to us this life-changing truth. Now let me tell you one of the big dilemmas with gaslighting. If you have been in a relationship, and maybe you saw it, and you got out of that relationship, and you're free, but you could really not be totally free if you haven't done some work. Because here's the problem. If I've been in a relationship with a woman who has gaslighted me, then there's a good chance I'm going to think every woman is going to be gaslighting me. Or I'm going to be hypersensitive to anything. They're chewing juicy fruit gum and they tell me it's spearmint. What is that all about? Because I haven't resolved within me the hurt and maybe even the shame of being deceived. So you really have to do the work so that you're not just letting anybody be accused of something that they're not doing to you. You'll miss out on relationships. Now the other side of this is, if you don't do some work, you say, boy, that's the last thing I'll ever do is get involved with a person that's going to be deceptive to me. And guess what you do? You fall right back into it. How many times have we heard a person say, yeah, I was married to an alcoholic, and then 2 years later, I was married to another alcoholic. It's so sad, but it doesn't have to be that way. So you need to get the help to bring resolution. You can get that in a group, a life recovery group. You can find one at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you don't have one, you can start one. You can get a coach, or you can get a counselor to help you be sure that all of these things are resolved. If you need some help with any of this, just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. There is hope for you, but you have to pick up the phone. Now, thank you for watching Life Recovery today. I'm going to be right back here next week, and I hope that you'll join me. Maybe even suggest to somebody that might benefit from some wisdom about recovery. Join us too. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us for Life Recovery Today, where we believe your past doesn't have to define your future. If you're ready to take the next step, we're here to help with Bibles, workbooks, devotionals, and more. Visit newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Your journey to healing and freedom can start right now. Until next time, stay hopeful, stay courageous, and keep moving forward.